Philippine President Duterte
shoot dead
anyone who creates trouble. Month-long
lockdown.
spread of COVID-19.
Ever since this pandemic began, and everybody had to stay home and self-quarantine themselves, the feeling of being trapped inside your house can drive you insane. But honestly, this feeling to me, this feeling of being isolated and detached, I've never felt more free. Alright, so this quarantine really got me binge watching this reality TV show. It is a show on TLC. It is part of the 90 Day Fiancé series. This video pops up in the Philippines and most likely in America too. And it's with this guy named Big Ed and Rosemary. I've only watched about 20 seconds of this video and I instantly scroll down to the comments. A lot of people are roasting him about how short he is and how fat he is and how he has no neck. But I'm not really gonna look at that. Basically what I saw was just a whole bunch of people calling him a terrible person. So what I'm gonna try to do is empathize with Ed as much as possible. If the way he looks matches his personality, then we got a problem.
Gusto daw niya maligo.
Sige, ako rin maliligo na.
My dad say we want to shower.
He looks like he needs a shower.
Together now?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay.
At least he's open to it.
Okay.
Tara pa.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Hi, my son.
What's up, dude?
Hey baby.
How's your hair?
Turn sideways. It looks like you have more hair in the back.
No barber's open, so I have this bush in the back. This is my hair right now, it's nasty.
Pollution has been down because of less cars, less...
Yeah, improving the nature. Animals given a chance to roam around freely without poaching, without people killing them.
I've been watching the stock market a lot.
Like it used to be like essential workers and stuff, but there's so many people out there that don't have jobs at all, and that's the reason why they want to, stop this quarantine and allow more people to work.
So it's just crazy watching it. You're like living through history.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure I don't miss anything.
That's the difficult part about this virus is that it can be so easily spread.
From now on, starting yesterday, after 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., you're not allowed to go out unless you have a quarantine pass. It really
It's
sucks.
so crazy.
Yeah.
Once the government allows people to go out, I feel like people should be more cautious because there might be a second wave of the virus all over again. You know, they have the choice to go out or not, but at the same time, they should be cautious.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that we're in this quarantine, I finally have time to myself. So a habit that I am trying to form is meditating every single day. It's definitely helping me become a lot more aware of my surroundings and my environment, especially with what I say to people or what I do. I've tried all different types of meditations, mantras, and affirmations in the morning, preferably when the sun rises. So with mantras, it's definitely helped me become a lot more focused on what I'm doing. So if I'm doing mantras and I'm focusing on my vocal vibrations, I'm gonna focus on that one thing. So when I wake up in the morning, I have different affirmations I tell myself. I will not binge watch 10 movies today just because I have time. If you're the one telling yourself that, eventually you're gonna believe it. Right before I go to sleep, I try to do breath work, a little bit of some Wim Hof, just to stretch and clear out my lungs a bit, just try to empty my mind, whether it be focusing on the sounds in my environment. But it's definitely hard to do that, especially where I'm kinda at because of how many tricycles and roosters and exactly, just like that. For the people that know me, know that I'm not good at being in the moment. One thing I really notice about myself is that I'll catch myself catching myself thinking about the thought about the thought. Before I even go out, before I even officially start my day, I always try to end it off with a prayer. One thing I try to do is draw, but I'm not the best at drawing. One creative exercise that I've seen on YouTube is that you'll draw circles. There's something different about the previous circle before. I drew 3 circles. I got bored with them 3 circles. I really can't draw a perfect circle. I know I'm not the best at drawing. I'm terrible at drawing. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of helped. A lot of people nowadays really like audiobooks. I like audiobooks to an extent if the person who's reading the audiobooks has a very powerful voice. It personally impacts me some way, somehow. Because you know how there are people who you listen to, whether it be their tone or their sound, does it necessarily resonate with you?
It is shock, but it's normal to my family to take a wash together. We are close and we are comfortable to each other. Put out.
Take this out.
This man has the biggest gut and you know what?
No.
Don't focus on how he looks.
Okay, what do we do? Oh my God! Whoa. Nice. This has to be the weirdest experience of my life. Nice. Oh yeah, nice.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Wow!
Are those chickens?
Yeah, this is a chicken. Please, pabuksan ng tubig. Salamat.
There's chickens. There's chickens
Yeah.
and rabbits and bunnies. Okay, hold on.
Bro, you never seen a duck before?
Rose.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, I dropped it. So, thank you.
What have you been doing during this time of the quarantine?
The house is clean. I cook a lot of good food. Watch movies with my family.
Yeah.
School.
Cool, right?
I switched everything to online, which kind of sucks because like I take labs and everything. I mean, they give us like activities online to do, like the simulators and stuff, but it's just not the same.
I just saw on Facebook, you know Big Ed?
Of course I know Big Ed.
Yeah, you just kind of get lost on YouTube watching like small clips.
Oh yeah, TikTok keeps me busy.
Oh, TikTok. Well, I mean, honestly, yes.
For the first week of like quarantine, I watched at least like 5 different series on Netflix. And it was just bad. I didn't feel good sitting down and laying down and just watching movies.
Yeah, that's true. You can be productive.
Yeah, definitely. A habit that I'm trying to build is like waking up 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So I can like work out, meditate, all that stuff I could do by myself every single day. And then whatever's rest of the day, just work. So in terms of like my physical health and my body, one thing I tried was intermittent fasting. I mean, basically what it is that you can only eat at this time of the day twice a day. I can go like 4 hours after waking up and then start to get hungry. There is a local fresh market to where I can buy fruits and vegetables at. So I've been trying to replace chips and snacks with just fruit. You know, I've been trying to eat less rice, and it's definitely harder in the Philippines because every single meal you buy here comes with rice. Another habit is that I am trying to drink a lot more water. Water really helps flush the fluids out.
Isa yung donut, tsaka isa yung ito.
I'm done.
You done?
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be my reaction too, but I would keep it to myself.
Rose, what is that?
I think mouse.
Here in the Philippines, they grow them big. I've seen rats that grow up to about a foot long. They usually come out at night, so when you look up, you can see them scurrying across the lines.
That's a mouse or a rat?
I think so. Yeah.
I cannot wait to get out of here, so I'm going to make hotel reservations as soon as possible.
Just keep it to yourself. There's different ways he can express himself that is considerate and more polite to Rose. I don't think that Ed
is intentionally trying to be rude. I think the number one word to describe how he is just extremely inconsiderate. You know, you can't blame someone who is uncomfortable with being in an environment he's not used to. But at the same time, you can't express that you are, because it's basically a middle finger to the people who are used to the environment, especially the people who are inviting you to their house, showing you hospitality, and then by the end of that, you're gonna show them that you're uncomfortable. That's just wrong. Ed just needs to work on keeping it to himself. Mom, you have to, I can't see you, your fingers on the camera. Ayun. Hi, Mom.
Hello.
Anong ginagawa mo?
Ayun, nanonood ng TV.
Relax.
Naka-relax.
Oo.
Boiled corn.
I've been here, what, for like a year and a half? Nothing's changed in terms of...
It's only been a year and a half. I feel like it's been like 2-3 years.
I tend to get randomly motivated more at night. I want to change that though. Like my next class, I'm gonna change that.
If you weren't in school, what do you think you would have been doing during this quarantine? Like if there were no homework, you didn't have to study, what do you think you'd be doing?
Sleep. I don't know. Like I want to say I would want to be sleep, but I do want to be like more productive and stuff.
And do you know what is the meaning in this lockdown? If you will think it's deeper,
What's the real meaning?
it's about family and relationship. People are so busy working to make a living, and they forget already the value of family. The world is resetting back the way it was.
Every single day I've been trying to soak in the sunrise and the sunset. Obviously, since we're on lockdown, we don't get to be outside that much. The weirdest thing about this quarantine is that about 2 weeks before quarantine actually started, the lens to my camera broke. I went to get it fixed, and as soon as I got it back, Philippines announced that it was under self-quarantine. At the end of the day, it kind of sucks, but you know, everything happens for a reason, and that's something I've always been a huge believer of. Honestly, one of the biggest self-dilemmas I've had within releasing this videos is that in order to create the type of quality content I'd like to release, I'd have to look at myself first and build myself up. I didn't feel like I was there, and I didn't feel like I was good enough to finally release the type of quality content I'd like for you guys to see. I think this self-quarantine is extremely good, especially if you want to spend time with your family, because it allows us to detach ourselves from everything that's going on in the world. You look at all these motivational videos, in today's world it's always constantly be on the grind. I gotta get up and do some work.
You gotta get out there and just dish out content.
So if you're not detaching yourself, you wouldn't know what it's like to actually spend time with yourself, get to know yourself. When I mean spending time with yourself, I don't mean indulging in self-pleasures. I don't mean binge watching Netflix. I don't mean snacking all the time. I don't mean laying in bed the whole day. I mean really spending time with yourself, asking yourself questions, which you may not answer at first, but as you spend time with your own self, you're gonna develop these answers that conform to your own opinion. But at the same time, don't be delusional. One thing I never really understood was, what's the point of doing all this? What's the point of meditating every single day? What's the point of working out every day? I understand that it makes me a better person, but after this quarantine, what am I expecting out of it? Well, I think we've been in quarantine for like 3 months. I definitely feel a lot more stronger. My mind is clear. I'm continuing to develop bonds for people who are new and entering into my life, and strengthening the ones for the people I love the most. As of right now, towards the end of this quarantine, I'm hoping to be a better person than I was when I came in. I'm not gonna put these expectations on myself to where I'm gonna be a completely different person when I finally go out into public. But I will say I'm gonna put this expectation on myself that isn't gonna revert back to the person I was before quarantine. Just real quick, one thing I wanted to add to this video is that this is the type of content I'd like to stick with, to make one cohesive project per se. And my goal is just to resonate with people with my own story. I'm gonna tell my story and what I've gone through and what I'm still going through, but at the same time, I can't be the only one out there who feels whatever I feel, how I feel in my videos. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with this content, just try to be very consistent with it, and yeah.